where a lot of the animals here are very shy and reclusive. So let's see what we can find. Oh, I do see a couple animals over on the left-hand side. That is a herd of bongo. So bongo, just like the percussion instrument. So they will use those horns to get through really thick and rough underbrush to hide from any predators. They're also known as the ghosts of the forest since they're rarely ever seen out in the wild. There was another animal over on the right-hand side, but it's kind of hiding in between some bamboo trees and some bushes. You can kind of see its dark brown coat and its white face. That's the okapi. You can kind of look at its legs. It has almost like zebra stripes. You can also see in your animal spotting guide. But the okapi is not related to the zebra at all. They're the only known relative to the giraffe since they have a very similar skull structure. But they were considered a myth out in the wild until they were discovered back in 1901 by Western civilization. There's another animal, two of them. They're going to be over on the right-hand side on top of the hill. They have these black and white feathers with colored faces. Those are the saddle-billed stork. So right now they're crouched all the way down to the ground, but when they stand up completely, they can be as tall as 5 feet with a wingspan of 9 feet long. Towards the left, you'll see a black rhino, tree stump to the left, but in front of the rocks, and if anyone can see it, it's laying down very, very far back. So they can weigh up to 3,000 pounds, so they're much smaller than the white rhinos. And they do prefer to live in solitary, so by themselves. Let's see if there's anything else out here. A lot of the animals will use their natural markings to kind of blend in with their surroundings to hide from any predators. So if you don't see too much over here, we'll go ahead and check the next couple areas up ahead. The Harambe Wildlife Reserve is around 800 acres wide, filled with a variety of ecosystems and amazing African creatures. So the next ecosystem that we're not going to head into is called the Safi River, which is home to a lot of aquatic animals. You can see if there's anything within the water or outside of it. Ooh, okay, so up ahead to the right, you'll see a couple hippos. We're going to wait our turn until that truck moves a little forward. Yeah, there's a couple vultures surrounding the hippos. So hippos are nocturnal animals. They do spend most of their day submerged underwater to prevent any overheating. So they're much more active at night. If they stay in the sun for too long, their skin will start to turn red. And it's not a sunburn. It's more of a red-tinted ooze that will smear out of its skin. And that ooze will act as a great bug repellent, but also as a natural sunblock. There's also a group of hippos over on the left. The group of hippos is called a float. They are very good swimmers, but they actually prefer to walk along the bottom of the water, and they can hold their breaths up to 8 minutes long. And then there's also the pink-backed pelicans on the island over on the left-hand side. They do get the pink colors on their backs throughout their mating season, and their wingspans can be as long as 7 to 9 feet. Also, a group of pelicans is called a pod. And if you look towards your left, there are a couple of hippos sunbathing as well, including the baby hippo. So the newborn hippo calf can weigh up to 85 pounds in their form. And when they're fully grown, they can weigh up to 5,000 pounds. I know it's not the best view with my friends on the left, at least we're able to see the baby hippo. But we are going to cross over Crocodile Bridge, so just a reminder to stay seated but look towards your left. And you will see a group of Nile crocodile. So they're about 16 feet long and they can weigh up to 500 pounds. And although their main source of food is fish, they're known to attack and consume any creature that's twice its size that comes along its path. They also only eat about 1 full meal per week, but they can go up to months and months without having a single meal. And that is because they have really slow digestive systems, especially throughout the colder season. Alright friends, the next ecosystem that we're not going to head into is the savannah, which is home to a lot of famous animals like the lions, giraffes, and elephants. So hopefully we can see all those animals throughout your journey. But before we head into the savannah, take a look towards your right-hand side and you'll see a funny looking tree, and that is called the baobab tree. The baobab tree can remain leafless up to 9 months out of the year to help it conserve water, and it'll store all of that water within its trunk. And one really cool thing that elephants like to do with those trees is that they'll puncture holes into them by using their tusks, and they'll drink the water that's stored inside. So it's a really great way for elephants to stay hydrated.
Great way to kill the
So we're going to go all the way up and all the way down the entire savannah. just to make sure that we don't miss any of these animals. And the closer that we get to them, the more I'll tell you all about them.
I see a giraffe over there. The giraffes are very photogenic. They like one of them is like.
Alright, so you can kind of see some animals from back here. There's a couple giraffes. Probably see some more on the outskirts. Now we'll get close to those giraffes, guys. I promise. We're just gonna go around first.
Hey, look, there's some poop. I don't care about crows.
Derek and Sarah, look towards me. Thank you. I think I caught both your faces, like here and here. The back's of your head.
It's supposed to be in here.
The lions, like.
No, the lions aren't in here. That's cool.
Okay, let's see if there's anything over here towards the left before we get to all those animals. Okay, there are some African wild dogs. They're going to be on the right-hand side of the cave in the very far back. I'll go very slowly so everyone can see. So they're also known as the painted dogs, and they do look very similar to domestic dogs, the ones you guys have at home, but they're very different. So instead of wolfing or barking, they'll make a high-pitched chirping sound to communicate with one another. Okay, so we have a lot of different animals. I'll go ahead and point out the sable antelopes in the far back left by themselves, and they are the emblem of the Harambe Reserve. Then we have the two baby giraffes over here on the left. I'm gonna wait for this truck to pull a little forward so we can stop for all of these animals. Again, I won't be able to stop for too long. So yeah, they're the baby giraffes. When newborn giraffes can be as tall as 6 feet when they're born, but when they're fully grown, they can be as tall as 16 to 20 feet tall. Then we have the Ankole cattle, the animals with those very large horns. So those horns may look very heavy, but inside of those horns is just a honeycomb-like structure where blood will circulate all throughout it to help it regulate its body temperature.
I see it, yes.
And then there's the springbok, these little itty-bitty guys that look like s'mores. They're about 3 feet tall, and they can leap up to 6 feet in the air or 13 feet across. And then there's some more Maasai giraffes right next to the termite mound. There are about 9 different species of giraffe, but one way you can tell it's a Maasai giraffe is by looking at the scattering pattern on its coat. And here we can stop next to this one over here on the right. So they only sleep for about 30 minutes of their day, and they'll spread out those 30 minutes into tiny little power naps. And the rest of the time they'll spend it walking around or eating. And you can kind of see the one on the left, it's sticking out its tongue to grab those leaves. That tongue is about 18 inches long. That's almost the whole length of your entire arm. And that will help them get the top of the leaves from those trees. Okay, we did see a big majority of the animals on the savanna, kind of in that little corner over there. Let's see if we can find any more on the other side.
Well, they get to walk though. Like you can.
Well, I do see the herd of white-bearded wildebeest are going to be on the right-hand side. So the newborn white-bearded wildebeest can stand and run with the herd after 15 minutes of being born. But if it does take the newborn a little longer than 15 minutes, well, they do get left behind by the rest of the herds as they travel in very large sizes, one of them being 1.5 million wildebeest. Oh, and there's a family of Patterson's eland, well, just the male and the female. The male is over on the right, and then the female's on the right, and the male is on the left-hand side of it within the grass. It's really big size difference between the male and female Patterson's eland. The male can stand up to 6 feet tall up to its shoulder, making them one of the largest antelopes here on the savanna.